So now I have a question for you. In the next sentence, I'm going to ask you, what can you control in the next sentence? Let's take it. I want him to teach you. I want him to teach you. What can you control in this sentence? Take it step by step. What can you control?
Control means?
So I mean like you cannot control actions of other people, but you can control the actions of yourself. So if you say I want, can you control that?
No.
Yeah, really, if you think about, let's say, philosophically, you might not, but if we think it in this way, then you can control that part. I want, but if you say, I want him to teach you, then if you want somebody to do something, that's not under your control, is it?
Maybe is him under our control? Are we like asking someone to teach?
If you say, I want you to do it, we have some friend and, oh, could you clean this room? I want you to do it. You can control the I want part, but you cannot control whether the other person will finish the
work
or not. Yes.
Okay.
In Finnish, instead of saying, I want you to teach him or I want him to teach you, we are going to say something a little different. But let's take a little second and take a look at how it has been built.
Okay.
First, how is I want to teach you?
Haluan opettaa
sinua. Haluan opettaa sinua. And I want. And how would be I want him to teach you? But sorry. Now I made the mistake. But if you take a look at I want him to teach you, where have you put the him?
In the want, like
I want we want him to teach. So it's directly before what?
Before the teach. To teach.
Specifically, yes, the to form. Before the to form. So in English, if you were just to say I want to teach you, that's something you do. But if you want somebody to do something or so, then you will put the him, her, you, or so before the to form of the second verb. I want him to teach you. But in Finnish, the second verb must be always in its to form. And you cannot just put the word he or him or so before the to form. He between the first verb, I want, and to teach, so you cannot. That's just forbidden.
Mm-hmm.
But to get the possibility of doing so, in Finnish you will say, I want that he teaches you. So instead of saying, I want him to teach you, you will say, I want that he teaches you. But what is this word that really doing here? What is it really doing here? So what do you think? What's the reason why we have added it there? As we have added, let's say, e to have a placeholder vowel there, like in olla, olen. What do you think that is?
That is also like showing what we are wanting.
Yes, so it's in a sense to be able to put the word he there, we need to have a placeholder word. So in this case, the word that is placeholder word. And can you guess what vowel we are going to use to build it?
Vowel.
Yes, vowel.
To build this
new word. So it's part of the word. What do you think is the vowel? We have said its name already.
The E.
Yes, we are going to use the placeholder vowel to create the placeholder word. And first off, what was the word computer in Finnish?
Tietokone.
Tietokone. What did we do with the words ending to A, B, C, D, E when we added endings to them? First, let's take it step by step. How is I buy a computer? What was the verb to buy?
Osta.
Not osta, but there was something more.
To buy. Ostata?
Maybe you remember the iPhone. What is the iPhone? I buy.
Ostan.
Ostan. Now work backwards. Do you have a relationship in the iPhone?
Yes.
Ostan.
Ostan.
Do we have a relationship?
No, we don't have.
No? We don't have two vowels next to each other right before the personal ending. So that means that in the two form you must have the opposite.
We must have
a relationship, yes.
Ostaa.
Ostaa, yes. If you are insecure about, is there two A's or two A's with two dots in the two form, then if you think about the iPhone, you might remember it and then work backwards. Take a look at the relationship and you'll find the answer. So how is I buy?
Ostan.
Ostan. And if you say I buy a computer, what state is this?
It's uncertain state.
Why?
Because the computer. I buy a computer. Maybe it's gonna be certain. We have only one computer.
Yes, so we know the amount. It's one computer. And what was the certain ending?
E.
It was a consonant.
It was a T.
That is the plural one, but what is the singular one?
N.
N, that's right. The plural certain state was the only plural ending that didn't have the I there. In verbs, the N is I form, but in nouns, so in words that we can put the word t or a in front of, like a television, a computer, it's showing us that it's the certain state. And same with adjectives, same with words that describe like big and so. So when we put the N to word big or computer, it's acting as certain state. How is I buy a computer?
Ostan tietokoneen.
It would be tietokoneen, but now the problem is that we might just mess it up with the placeholder E. So when in some cases we have added placeholders to, let's say, verbs, and it might be a little confusing. What did we do to avoid this confusion? We added something.
We added again E?
Yes. So the best way to avoid making a placeholder error is by adding. Best way to avoid that is by adding another of those. So it's not tietokoneen, but
tietokoneen.
And I buy a computer.
Ostan tietokoneen.
Ostan tietokoneen. Yes, very good. How is I don't buy a computer? What state is this?
This is negative, so uncertain.
Yes. How is I don't buy a computer?
En osta tietokoneen.
First off, let's take it step by step. What is the word computer?
Tietokone.
Tietokone. And what is the uncertain ending?
A.
A. So the words ending to a E, to A, B, C, D, E, behaved a little differently compared to others. When we are adding something like the certain state, we added another E there. But what was the separator consonant that was separating three vowels?
A T.
T. With this particular one, we are kind of separating the E and the A. If you have tietokone, and then you have tietokonee, and now if you add the uncertain ending, what is it?
Tietokonea.
And now you would have three vowels together. So what did you add to avoid having the three vowels together?
T.
T. How is it?
Tietokoneetta.
Tietokoneetta. Instead of having two E's there, we had two T's. So instead of adding another placeholder there, we added another T. In other words, another separator consonant. So how is it?
Tietokoneetta.
Tietokonetta. And I don't buy a computer.
En osta tietokonetta.
Yes. And to have the placeholder word, you are going to create the uncertain state of E. So just like tietokone, we have E there and we added the rest. How would it be E uncertain state?
E.
So E, we have E and add...
Again E. E.
Yes, but if we have E,
okay,
we have to double it, add another E. What do you have first if you do that?
E.
Or pronounced in Finnish, E, and then you add the uncertain ending.
Yeah.
Yes, A with 2 dots because it's neutral and taking 2 dotted ending. But now you would have 3 vowels together, so what did you add?
A T.
So how is it now?
Eta.
Eta. And instead of having 2 E's, we had 2 T's, so how is it?
Että.
Että. So it's logical that we are creating a placeholder word using the placeholder vowel. In Finnish, you will not say, I want you to teach him. We will say, I want that you teach and him. But I want that you teach him. To get the you teach and not to form, we need to have a placeholder, because otherwise the second verb must be always in its to form. But if you want, I want that you teach him, it's not. So you need the placeholder word to be able to put it in the personalized form and not into the to form. First, how is I want? Haluan. And that? Että. We are not using se, like in the form that car, se auto, that, se, or it. I see it, näen sen. No, we are not using that, because here it's acting as a placeholder word, not as the that referring to something like car, that car. So we use että. And he?
Hän.
Teaches. Opettaa. If you're not sure about the to form, go to the I form, opetan, and check out the relationship status. There is no 2 vowels together, close to each other, next to each other, before the personal ending, opetan. So that means that the to form must be the opposite and have a relationship. Opettaa. He teaches you. How is the you?
Sinua.
So I want him to teach you. Where are we going to cut this sentence? So think about what you can control.
I want him.
But I want him to teach you. So now it's very important that you think about what parts you can control. What is that part?
I want.
Yes, how is I want?
Haluan.
And now, because your control area ends, you need the placeholder word. How is that? Että. And he?
Hän.
Teaches.
Opettaa.
And you?
Sinua.
Haluan, että hän opettaa sinua. And how would be, I don't want him to teach you. First, I don't want.
En halua.
So now, as you can see, we should always take one extra step. So in English, if you say, I don't want him to teach you, that's a form that it's not really how we say it in Finnish. Instead, let's get the literal translation first. What can you control? I don't want him to teach you.
I don't want.
Yes. And then you would say, I don't want that, and what else? him to teach you. Don't think about the Finnish version.
Okay.
Say literally what. I don't want that he
teaches you.
I don't want that he teaches you. How is that?
In Finnish.
Yes, in Finnish.
En halua, että opettaa.
But you cannot... Yeah, well... Now you're saying... En halua opettaa sinua. I don't want to teach you. But if you want to have the he, you need to have the placeholder word to be able to add he there. So how is that? I don't want him to teach you.
En halua, että hän opettaa sinua.
En halua, että hän opettaa sinua. Very good. In sentences like I want him to teach you. In sentences when you have him, her, you or so before the to form, before the word to. Like I want him to teach you. Not to him, but him to. So when you have the word him, her or so before the to form, that means that you must put the placeholder word there. Every time you have him to, her to, you know that right before the word him or her or so, the control of the first person ends. So you will cut the sentence there. I want him to teach you. I want that he teaches you. And because we want to say I want, he teaches you, first I want, and then he teaches, we cannot just say I want, he teaches you, because the second verb must be in its to form. I want to teach, and that's why we are adding the placeholder word to avoid having to put the second verb into the to form. And by adding the placeholder word, we get to choose whatever form we want to use. He to teach you, or in Finnish literally, he teaches you.